and welcome to a very special social media themed episode of The Point. I'm your host, Meg Turney. Today we have 3 great points. First, we're going to hear from What's Trending Shira Lazar, talking about YouTube's new policy toward comments. Then we're going to hear from Guy Adams, who had his Twitter account suspended for some questionable comments. Of course, we'll get to that. And then in our final point, we're going to be talking about YouTubers breaking into the mainstream TV industry. But first, let's talk to our panel. First of all, we have Andre Meadows, who is also known as the Black Nerd, is an actor and stand-up comedian who produces new videos on YouTube every week, and his channel, Black Nerd Comedy, was one of 16 channels chosen to be a part of the YouTube Next Vlogger program. Work it out. Thank you so much, Andre.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, and next we have Will Hyde, better known as Will of DC, who left us a beautiful message on the last Point episode that was social media themed. He hosts YouTube News and has 270,000 subscribers and more than 13 million views. Work it out again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Then we also have Misty Kingma, who, obviously you're not new to the Young Turk fans. And you also are an entertainment journalist with Clever Media.
Yes, hello.
Hello. And a Lady Gaga expert, yes?
Yes, self-proclaimed.
Well, you showed me already.
Misty Monster.
Misty Monster.
Yes.
All right, for our first segment, we're going to take a look at Shira Lazar's video on YouTube's new comment policy. Let's take a look.
There's a lot to be said in terms of allowing for anonymous comments online. Some people are for it, some people are against it because they feel people should take responsibility for what they say. However, I do think there needs to be a line. If you live in a third world country or somewhere where there's no freedom of speech, then saying what you want to, you could be imprisoned and taken down by the government. And so anonymity allows for that freedom of speech. However, within the new YouTube comment system, what Google is basically doing is forcing people to be more in the Google Plus ecosystem. So instead of you commenting maybe through Facebook, it's saying, okay, one, we want to know who you are, and therefore that goes through Google Plus. So it's forcing people to put their comments and their content through Google Plus and create more of a platform there. For me, as long as there's a choice that you can use your real name or be anonymous, that's the best of both worlds.
So first I want to turn it over to you, Will. You have a great grasp, we were talking about this before the show, on actually what's happening. So for people who aren't familiar, before we ask the question, can you kind of brief us on what Google's new policy is on YouTube comments?
Sure, of course. Well, Google, since they launched Google Plus, have wanted to really integrate it into everyone's lives, and so they've really come up with this, what I think is called the Google One experience, where from search and your documents and your calendar to your YouTube and mail and your Google Plus. So what they want to do in integrating Google Plus into YouTube more is make it so that if you have a YouTube account, you have to have a Google Plus account, and your Google Plus account has to have your name. So now whenever you comment or whenever people look for you, they'll be looking for your name and not like the username you have chosen or any kind of random collection of numbers and letters the way most people who use anonymously, use YouTube anonymously do. They usually have not really anything that you could make out. It's just like a bunch of letters and numbers. So they're trying to get rid of all of that so that everyone's name is everywhere on the comments and on YouTube.
So Shira kind of pointed out that this might be a ploy to get people onto Google Plus, but what do you think? Do you think that that's why they're doing it, or do you think it's trying to take away from all the people who are like die in a house fire on every YouTube video?
I think that's the most conservative bad comment I've seen on YouTube. Die in a house fire.
That's a good day.
Yeah, that's a good day.
Agreed.
But no, it's definitely twofold. It's definitely they want to clean up YouTube. They've always, for the past 3 or 4 years now, it feels like they always talk about, making it more family friendly, more brand friendly, bringing a lot of, have it be very a G-rated site. So the easiest way to get all the bad comments off of there is to take away anonymity. So now no one can leave, like no one's going to want to have their name on there, like cussing somebody out or something like that.
Right.
But of course, also like Google is a business, they want to expand their platform. If they, if the spillover effect is that everyone's forced to have a Google Plus page. Oh no, everyone has a Google Plus page.
We totally didn't think that to happen.
Wait, but is it optional right now?
Yeah, it's absolutely optional right now. It's only things you can volunteer into. But it's going to be like how like Cosmic Panda, everyone was able to opt into that for like 6 or 8 months.
Tell me what you think of Cosmic Panda. Now you have it.
So this is eventually going to be mandatory?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, do you think that that's going to hurt YouTube? Do you think this is Google Plus's sinking and saying like, oh shit, we need people to sign up?
Well, okay, obviously Google Plus needs help. Let's be honest. I totally gave up on it.
They need every player in the book.
I gave it a fair, valiant effort, and I totally gave up on it. I use Facebook and Twitter way more. I tried to use Google Plus, but it just doesn't compare. Maybe the Hangouts are cool, but that's all that I think is cool about it. But on the other hand, these are like internet trolls we're talking about. Are they really going to be like, yes, please put my name there? That's awesome.
But what if they don't have a choice? What if they have to put a name on there?
Well, see, I
Then I think it'll hurt YouTube.
Yeah.
I think there'll be less people using it.
But there will always be some people who just will not care. It's like, you can show my name, I'm still gonna hate you.
Yeah,
you know?
no, definitely.
but I think there will definitely be some resistance because some people do like having, even if it's so much not hiding their name, some people like being known as a username. I mean, pretty much everything except for like Facebook and Google Plus, you get to have a cool name. You have a cool Twitter name. You have a cool username, a gamer tag. So
Most
now,
YouTubers refer to each other by their username.
by their username,
Right,
exactly.
yeah,
So that's gonna be a weird experience. I mean, I'm Black Nerd Comedy. If all of a sudden you'd be like, hey, there's Andre Meadows video, like that's not sexy at all.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, I subscribe to myself. I don't even know those.
Facebook, you're like, Andre, who's
Yeah,
that?
exactly. But Black Nerd to it, it's like, so that'll be interesting.
But so you said you think people won't use YouTube as much, but are you missing out if people aren't going to use YouTube because they can't say die in a house fire? Are you really missing out on a lot
I
by
think
not
they'll use YouTube,
having
maybe
them?
they'll comment less, which I think will hurt YouTube, which will hurt the content creators and YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
I love comments. I'll be the first to say they really, truly don't bother me. They're honest. People call me out when I say something wrong, which is very often, and I appreciate that they call me out. It increases my views by increasing the algorithm thing. I don't know how that
Absolutely, and really,
works,
it just
but
builds
it's a real
thick
thing.
Skin. I mean, like any entertainer needs to have a thick skin, and comment section is the quickest and easiest way to build one.
And I know Anna Kasparian on the Young Turks talks about this. She loves her haters because the haters love to hate. Like they'll keep watching you because they hate you so much. And the perfect example of that is Rebecca Black.
Yes.
It's true. And
Who I love.
she toured with Katy Perry. I mean, that worked out for her.
Yeah.
She's done amazing.
Yeah,
She has a real career now, if you didn't know. She's putting singles out and an album.
If
So
people
worked out for
didn't
her.
know, she doesn't have a real career, right?
I knew. I'm a big Rebecca Black
sorry.
fan.
Really?
I am.
I've interviewed her on a
Since
red carpet before. It's real.
So Shira made another interesting point, though. There are countries in the world where people can't say with their real name what they want to say. They could be imprisoned. They could be in trouble. Do you think that this will hurt them?
But I think there's a difference, like there's a difference between anonymity because YouTube just launched that feature where you can blur people's faces.
Yeah.
So like when you're
Really?
in, no, it's a really
Yeah.
cool tool. So like all the people, like how they like how YouTube's expanding in the third world and like with revolutionaries and how people do a lot of that. That you can now blur the faces, so everyone there that like sending, like rebels sending out messages to each other on YouTube don't have to have their
Protects
faces.
them.
Yeah, exactly. So like anonymity is good in some ways, but if you're using YouTube comments to like hate on someone or like troll someone or like really harass someone, like YouTube, it's their like business and platform and they don't want that to go on, so they're going to do what they have to do to like get rid of that. And I don't think that like as much as haters can empower people, like I don't know. I'm not sure if it's something we should be doing. Like keep comments anonymous. So encourage hating.
So you disagree with me?
Well, I disagree. I'm just saying that.
Well, you said you loved your
It's
haters,
fine.
so here's one right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I hate you so much, Misty. I hate you.
Unsubscribe.
But I'm just saying that like never before have people grown up like kids in the 90s didn't know how to be anonymous and hate somebody like behind a screen. There wasn't a platform. We didn't have things like
AIM,
social media. I mean,
AOL.
even still, like
Again,
even that.
Well, I mean, I feel like even then it was pretty see-through in the 90s when it was like Skater Boy and 69. Like,
I was Queen Misty, so everyone knew who I was.
Yeah, but I mean,
job
that's
being
what I
an
mean. Like, we haven't like always been raised on like hating. It's just this thing that's like organically developed because we've
Right.
like as human beings we didn't know how to do with social media. So maybe it's better that we like kind of censor ourselves or like kind of put forward best practices. Like, yeah, we could kind of go crazy with it, or maybe we can like try and encourage people not to like troll people
So
behind the scenes.
So wait,
But-
so I'm hearing that you kind of like it because it encourages people not to
I
hate.
don't like necessarily the forced integration of Google Plus, but I do think that it's not a bad idea to clean up the comment section. I think that
You think it'll work?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it will like
don't
work
either.
in the sense that it will build community or get people to comment more. I think that comment sections are going to die off because of this.
Right.
But
I agree.
I think I don't know, like YouTube as a medium is growing and changing too. Like I think the way we watch it now isn't maybe the way we'll watch it in a couple of years. And I think that there's places for, conversations, interaction to go on, but maybe YouTube is going into, I don't know, maybe more of a, I don't want to say like traditional, but more high quality productions are coming onto YouTube.
Yeah. But there's ways to handle bad comments. I mean, there's a whole harassment system that they have set up that you can. I've used it a number of times when people have just been delivering.
How has it been using it?
It's been
Quick?
great. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the ones I've sent them, like if someone just like, oh, I hate your face, it's like whatever. Then I hate your comments because you can't spell. You know, so it works out because I just make fun of them. But I have gotten, you know, like racial things and stuff like that. So I report those and haven't had any problems. So there are systems in place. I'm thinking as a content creator, a lot of content creators are known for their brand, and their brand is their username. So if there is some kind of way where it's now not going to be seen, or it's going to be sort of an afterthought, that could be kind of weird because, you know, if you're known for a certain username, if you're known for a certain thing, and it's just not going to have that same
You're right, it will hurt
sexiness
branding.
to it. Yeah.
What if you could keep your username if it was linked like to your Google Plus? Like if like you could comment on it, but like if people clicked on your username, it went to like your Google Plus. If they did that
I guess
kind of
so.
thing.
I mean, I tried to put Black Nerdy as my Google Plus name when it first came out, and I actually got banned from Google
Yeah,
Plus.
and I mean, Facebook
Yeah.
has the same problem. You can't use your
Yeah.
name, even if it's a fake name. Like people who in the
Nicknames.
cosplay industry will put character names that they're famous for, like they go by. So you can't put, you know, like Poison Ivy couldn't be your name. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you would get banned.
Yeah.
So Google Plus could very easily follow the same scenario. So if you were, you know, Sexy Phil, that's clearly not Phil DeFranco's
Well, they
real
have
name.
it.
That could be banned.
Yeah,
you
well
know what I mean?
now they have a thing where you can put your real name and a nickname, and it gives you options of how you display it if you want like the nickname beside it. But when they were like Google Plus is great, you gotta try this new thing, and I was like, all right, Andre Black Nerd Meadows, and like a week later it was like, yeah, your account's closed because Black Nerd is not a real name. And I'm just like, okay, and I fixed it and was like off of it for a week, so you know, and then I went back on and it still was the same way.
What if that
Still
was your
active.
real name?
Yeah, exactly. Take that, Facebook. It is my real name. Let me legally change it just to prove I'm wrong.
So can you guys think of a way Google could maybe approach this a little bit better to clean up the comment section without it being something where they're forcing you to use their platform?
Well, I think
First of all, I like that they didn't approach it in the way of saying the war on comments. You know, because I think that would be counterproductive.
Yeah.
But this is going to sound like a very momish comment in a way, but I feel like if we ignore it, or somehow if the comments that are negative or really trollish, if you will, go to say the bottom of the page and no one sees them, I feel like people will stop doing it because if we don't respond to it or get excited about it, people are going to stop doing it because it's not fun anymore because no one notices.
I don't think trolling will ever stop. You can put the name, address, phone number, and there will still be somebody who's like, I'm gonna hate. So I feel like the way to handle it is to continue be stronger with these policies. You know, have a team or have some way of setting up to where if someone really is bothering you, they're really giving you hate comments, that you can approach that in a way that they can take care of this. They can kill the account or whatever else. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just being a little conspiracy, but it seems like it's the way of saying like, we gotta fix these comments by adding Google Plus to it. And it seems like that adding Google Plus is more of the thing than the actual we care. You know, that's how I'm feeling about it right now, hearing it. So.
And I kind of wonder if YouTube had any say in it whatsoever, or if it was
Yeah.
just Google coming in and saying, well, we don't like our comment section anymore. We want to continue trying to make more money off of this site and launch our Google Plus. So here's what you have to integrate into your website.
As long as you say good things about the premium channels, then you're fine.
That's good. All right, well, fantastic points panel, and we will join you guys in just a second for point number 2. And welcome back to The Point. Our next point comes from Guy Adams, the independent writer. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Hello, my name is Guy Adams. I'm a writer for the Independent newspaper of London, and my point is this. I believe, and I hope I'm not being too naive, that the social media revolution is going to make it progressively harder for very big companies and kind of powerful people to tell lies and simply get away with it. About a week ago, my Twitter account was suspended because of a message I'd posted that was somewhat critical of NBC's Olympics coverage and suggested that readers who were shared my views email one of their executives to complain. Twitter straight away claimed that I'd broken its rules. In fact, I hadn't. They didn't have any rules stopping people doing what I'd done, and what is more, it soon turned out that they were in a dodgy commercial relationship with NBC. My account was restored, and the following afternoon, Twitter issued what was a fairly grovelling apology. My suspension from Twitter was easily criticized by people using their website. And the flaws in the logic as to why I'd been suspended for the site immediately became apparent once people looked up Twitter's own rules on the internet. There's a kind of conflict between Twitter and the supposed values that Silicon Valley companies are supposed to espouse, and the rather more mendacious values that have traditionally prevailed in corporate America. And I think we're in the middle of, obviously, what is a revolution, a social media revolution. It makes it harder for people to tell porky pies and get away with it, and makes it an awful lot harder for powerful people to simply shut down their critics. If you'd like to hear more from me, you can always go to the Independent's website, or of course follow me on Twitter.
All right, so before we turn it over to Andre, I do want to point out his tweet. I'll read it here. The man responsible for NBC pretending the Olympics haven't started yet is Gary Zinkel. Tell him what you think, and then listed his email. So the first question I want to ask is, do you think this was harassment? And do you think Twitter was founded in suspending his account for posting an email address?
Oh, I have to disagree with him just because he's a good-looking British dude. I'm jealous. Anything he says is wrong. No, I mean
That accent.
But it's an interesting point because there definitely is, obviously Twitter is a place where people are expressing themselves, and this is a new world where people can be very direct about how companies are treating them and things like that. Putting an email address out is a little interesting. I mean, if I had a girl that I went out with and she made me mad, if I said, hey everybody, call her up, here's a phone number, I'd probably get in trouble for that. But it is one of these interesting things. But to think that there will be changes in how it helps with the social revolution, but it's hard to feel that way when I look at the trending topics and the top topic is always a sponsored topic from some company. Like Twitter obviously is getting a business going on here, and so there's always going to be that sort of conflict that happens.
So there are a lot of websites now that protect people's email address. Reddit, for one, if you post someone's email address, you're immediately banned. I mean, do you think Twitter didn't have a rule? So I think that's kind of the point of contention here, is that maybe we don't agree with him posting the email, but Twitter didn't have a rule to suspend him on. I mean, do you think they were still founded in suspending him?
Well, I mean, I think there's something different in being founded in suspending him and just kind of common sense. I mean, all YouTube, Twitter, all the websites kind of feel like they have a fine print of, at the end of the day, we'll do whatever we want, and you using this means you agree we'll do whatever we want, and you shut up. Right? One of those little kind of disclaimers, this is not a free thing, this is our business.
Yeah.
I think I agree with him a lot when he says that social media should have the power to kind of call out big corporations or affect change for consumers in a really positive way. But it's you posted the dude's email address.
But it wasn't a private email. It's a corporate email. You could have found it if you wanted to.
Could you really? Because
Yes.
There's a lot of corporate emails out there.
Extraordinary over there. Misty Monster on finance.
I actually don't think most corporate email accounts from business cards, and they get passed around a lot, but I don't think to the public that it's really out there like that. If someone at Young Turks or any of the different YouTube networks out there, their executives, if someone from the network was angry and left to a different one and put out email the CEO because I hate them fans and tell them how much their thing sucks, there would be thousands of emails flooding that person's inbox, and it's not responsible and making their life harder on purpose. Right. And I don't know, I'm not I'm all for affecting positive change and @replying NBC and getting a campaign to @reply NBC, especially if you're on publicly NBC, you're head of programming and you have your Twitter out there publicly, then I really think you can go after people. But to put people's personal information out there and kind of do this mob mentality of everyone inundate them with negative criticism, feels like harassment to me. It feels
and this is a weird thing that's happening. I mean, the pro and the con of having everybody now all of a sudden be I can start a campaign on Twitter is that you can start a campaign on some weird stuff. Yes, if it's something about some really social media change or whatever, but we are talking about the fact that you don't see the Olympics until a few hours later. I think somehow some of that can survive. But I do like seeing things positively happening out of people doing stuff on Twitter or any social network. I think that it's a nice movement of that. There was some story recently about a guy who got his healthcare taken care of or something like that because he spoke to the company via via Twitter.
He tweeted the CEO of the company, and the company actually listened to him on Twitter and then took care of. He was being dropped from his coverage. I believe he had cancer.
Yeah.
He had some sort of terminal disease and was dropped from his insurance coverage. And then the CEO saw his tweet, and in a fairy tale like ending, they actually paid for everything.
Wow.
Which is great. I mean, the internet
That's
has
cool.
the power
That's
to
cool.
do that.
Isn't that the beauty of Twitter? I'm
Yes.
obsessed with Twitter. It's
Yes.
my favorite site. I love that you can say whatever you want. It's like therapy. You can voice your opinion to the world and your followers who care what you think.
But you can't say whatever you want
No.
because
That's why it breaks my heart, and that's why I don't think he was wrong in writing that. And it worked. Look at how much attention he's gotten.
It worked maybe for the wrong reason though,
Yeah.
because like here's the thing, I actually agree with his point about the NBC Olympics coverage. Like I actually think that they like, I'm one of those people that's critical of how NBC has done its Olympic coverage.
Another story.
Yeah,
Storming down the
totally
floor now. That's all I'm saying.
Totally, but I'm just saying, like, I agree with like all the points he was making. I just think that he did it in a
You don't
way
like how he
that,
did it.
yeah. If he had done it maybe in a different way, then he could have maybe achieved the same results, but in like a better way. Because he did like achieve a lot of good results, but maybe
Yeah.
in the wrong way.
It felt kind of trolly in a way.
But you had said if they had @replied somebody, you'd be okay with that. What if it was a phone number? Like, where do you draw the line in what is too personal a communication
Better
versus
put my
what
phone
is?
number up there.
Do you remember
Exactly.
when Charlie Sheen accidentally tweeted out his phone number to Justin Bieber, thinking it was a direct message?
Oh my
Yes,
God, I
and
love
how-
celebrities who don't know how to direct messages work. It's the best thing ever.
Isn't that great?
It's the best
Yeah.
thing ever. Oh, do you remember when Tom Green, back in the day before there was Twitter, put his assistant guy sidekick's number
Yes.
in Times Square? I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
people have been doing this before Twitter. They've been outing people's public or personal information.
Yeah. But then there was also the case where it was like Spike Lee or somebody during the whole Trayvon Martin thing put out an address to George Zimmerman,
yeah.
but it wasn't the same. It
Remember
wasn't the
that.
same George
That's
Zimmerman.
right.
Yeah. So like this is that
So
means-
it all draws a line.
Yeah.
I mean, like, where do you draw the line? And does Twitter get to decide that? Obviously, they've taken, or does the public who's on Twitter get to decide that? Because I feel like Twitter tried to decide that in this case, and then the public kind of took it back. They had to take back what they
that's
did.
what the question I have is, did Twitter actually decide that in this case? I feel like someone at NBC saw that and said, hey, Twitter, look at this. And they were like, oh, crap, let's take it off. I don't feel like Twitter actually saw that and took it off.
Well, that's
Oh,
true.
I agree with
yeah.
that.
Well, that was I think that's
So
what
that's
the
what,
point
Yeah.
that's what bothers me, is that
Yeah.
relationship between NBC and Twitter is more important than Twitter and the user.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
That is a problem. That's why I think it's good when people reacted the way they did. But like Twitter, I think it has to be on them. They have to put rules out there and enforce them like objectively
Yeah.
and figure out where it is. And if the public doesn't like it, then we can rise up again and say, hey, that rule's not fair, and then compromise can be made.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel for Twitter in this instance. Like, I know they need to protect themselves and their advertisers, but also they need to protect the users on their site. If people aren't using their site, there's going to be no advertisers. So
Right?
it puts them in kind of a difficult position. I feel a little bit for them, and I think in this instance, I think they had a moment of weakness, and I think they acted on a rash decision. Someone at NBC was yelling at them, but I don't think they should have taken it down.
But I think that's gonna continue to be, as long as these social networks are free for us to use, I think there's always gonna be an issue because that money has to come from somewhere. And the
Yeah.
more that a company gives money to some type of service, they're gonna always try to enforce their rules onto it. Like I was saying about the sponsor, we have people making Lizzie McGuire the trending topic, but it's gonna be stopped by the McDonald's chicken sandwich because
Yep.
McDonald's gave them money.
that's important.
Yeah, and hey, well, hey.
Love Lizzie McGuire, by the way. I know you do.
You guys love Lizzie McGuire. Come on.
I'm just saying, but it's just one of those things like they're going to happen. I mean, this is happening with YouTube. This is happening with Facebook.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of these deals where how do you get companies to work with an organization that's for people, where they're going to get their benefit of why I'm giving the money. While
It should be a
get the
push
same
for
experience.
transparency on
Yeah.
that front.
Yeah.
But you're not giving Twitter money. Do you think if you gave Twitter money to be a member, they would be more?
Oh, there would be no ads if we did that. There would definitely be no ads.
Did you?
But
do you
also,
really think
but I don't know if they would like. I don't know because it's everybody pays into it, but it's like they would treat us all individually. I'm not sure like how if you paid you could band together to kind of enforce the kind of change that you wanted.
I think you should do it based on what tweet you're writing. Like if you're writing an emo tweet, you have to pay more for that. So you can really decide if you need. Do we really need to know about your breakfast? Pay 25 cents first.
I
That's what it is.
I like food porn though.
I'm glad we're all opening up about this. This is good.
Chuckles in the studio from now on.
All right, well, great points, panel. Thank you guys so much. And we want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Twitter should police the content, or do you think it should be the users who are telling Twitter what they can and can't do? Let us know in the comments down below, and we will see you guys in the next point. right, welcome back to The Point. For our final point, we've put together a montage of clips of YouTube celebs who've made the jump to TV. Let's take a look.
I'm gonna be on Shark Week. I'm gonna be hosting a bunch of stuff for the 25th anniversary of Shark Week, and things are getting destroyed. Also, I'm gonna be hosting like an hour-long show, and I'm pumped. And I mentioned this to say thank you to the nation.
They're over there shooting, and I'm here to give you your first challenge. Your first challenge topic is hands-free to go along with the new 2013 Ford Escape, which has a ton of cool hands-free features.
Prepare! We're gonna be on TV! Orange, you amazed?
The Annoying Orange is coming to Cartoon Network in a brand new show.
Here are Kelly Ripa and Michael Buckley.
Right?
I've been a full-time YouTuber since 2008. I was actually one of the first people doing that, and now there are thousands of us, so...
All right, for those who aren't super familiar with YouTube, the YouTubers we just saw were Philip DeFranco, who has, the Philly D show, and he also hosted Shark Week on the Discovery Channel. Justine Ezerick, who has Justine, and she is now in the NBC program Escape Routes. The Annoying Orange, who has a new program, our Cartoon Network, and Michael Buckley, who is now hosting Live with Kelly. So I'm going to throw it to you, to Misty. So is this, as a YouTuber, this is close to your heart. Is this like the final goal to jump to TV? Or, I mean, is this just, are you going backwards by going to TV?
You might think you're going forward to TV, but I actually think that once you try it, you're gonna want to go back, that you won't actually like it. Because, yes, while the exposure is there, you don't really need that. As a YouTuber, you're already probably making a lot of money. Yes, television might make you some money, but they're gonna confine you to a bunch of rules, and you're gonna have to play by their rules, and I don't think you're gonna actually want that. Your freedom is gonna be gone. And, I feel like TV is only looking to YouTube because that's where the advertisers are looking. The numbers are online, and TV's dropping significantly, so they're looking to the online, like YouTubers for content, and it's cheap. They already have an audience, they already have the storyline going, what have you. So I feel like it's almost a cop-out for TV, and I don't think the YouTubers ultimately are gonna want what TV has to offer.
But do you think that, I don't feel like these YouTubers are making a permanent jump to TV. They're just kind of like sticking their toe in the water and also being on YouTube. So, I mean, although we've always said that it's moving to digital, I feel like these are pretty prominent YouTubers. These are top YouTubers who are sticking their toe in the pool of TV.
But look, it's doing more for TV than it is for them. So you're gonna watch Shark Week. You're not gonna think, oh my gosh, who's this Philip guy? I need to go Google him. TV is thinking, ooh, we're gonna get his 2 million subscribers to watch our show. It's gonna help TV way more than it's gonna help Philip. And obviously he got that because he's now partnered with Revision 3, who was bought by Discovery.
Well, I mean, is that something that you guys, so you don't aspire to ever be on television? If I offered you a television gig, would you say no? Because
I do like a lot of Yes, I am a YouTuber, but also am a journalist. I do news, I do broadcasting, and always have. So I feel like that's sort of a unique situation. Obviously, there's lots of news opportunities on TV, which is different than having like the Annoying Orange show on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree that it's basically that YouTubers jumping to television, I think, first of all, only benefits television, because television, I mean, it's like they're trying to find a way to go digital, to become interactive, to suck in all of these things and try and get everybody to come back to television. People will watch Discovery for the week that Phil's on it, and then how many of those people are really going to return to watch? Like, of Phil's fans, I mean, so.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on how you do it. Like, I'm an actor, so my acting things are a little bit separate from my YouTube stuff, because it's not like I'm going in there going, I'm trying to pitch the Black Nerd Show, though that's cool if anyone's interested. But I'm
don't be like Missy and talk
I'll bring it. I'll take TV, movies. I'll take everything. But I think there's a difference when you, in that route, then okay, you have this established thing on YouTube that you created. That's really the big thing. You've created something, and now a television studio or company or whatever is going to come in and be like, all right, well, we want to make the television. But how much of that control are you going to get when you've had all this freedom all of a sudden, and then now, the television wants to come in and say,
you're going to need a good agent.
Yeah. Right, like you've owned 100% of your creation, and now you're probably going to own like half.
I know that Epic Mealtime, they've been trying to get a show. They were in talks to do some on G4. It doesn't happen because the deals were really poor.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot of trying to understand the medium. Obviously, television is trying to understand YouTube, and you're even seeing now television people, celebrities, are making YouTube channels and YouTube shows and trying to get into that side while people from television are trying to pull YouTube people over. So I think it's all about trying to figure out how to cross the medium. But there is definitely something about if you've created a show that you really are like, whatever, I made this to sell it, and someone comes to sell it, I'm sure you're really like, great, let's do it. But a lot of people that started with YouTube started because they had this passion, they had a voice, a particular voice they wanted to do, and in a lot of cases a voice that they didn't get from television.
Right.
So it's a little bit different from, here's an idea of a show that I made that I don't really care that much about and pitching it, and here's my life that I'm now giving you to now put on television.
Well, sure, but I mean, a lot of these people, except for Annoying Orange, obviously, they're not selling shows, they're selling themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see that as something that benefits only television, as you said, or do you think it benefits them too? Do you think they're getting people who are maybe not on the YouTubes to get to tune in?
I think they have a fun time. I think it feels like, hey, I get to hang out in Malibu on set all day. My girlfriend can come visit. This is so fun. But
I think it benefits the YouTube. I mean, it's good.
I don't think you get, like, I don't think by going on, you know, a late night show or whatever that you're going to get X amount of more subscribers. Like all the YouTubers that go on Ellen that she handpicks are all awesome YouTubers and they like do really well at what they do. But I don't think that they got an audience from appearing off of Ellen. I don't think like, because Ellen's watched by a lot of people and I haven't really seen like in the next day once some YouTuber goes on that they have like all of a sudden now these people like were like, oh, let me look them up. So I still think that there like are two separate audiences. There's like a traditional TV audience and a YouTube audience. And you can get like your YouTube audience to come watch you on TV and have a lot of fun doing it like you said and have great experiences and meet lots of people and things like that. But I don't think that this traditional TV audience yet, at least that I've seen, has really kind of crossed that threshold where they see a YouTuber on television and then they go look them up and subscribe and become an ardent fan.
But they still could be a benefit to the YouTuber just in the traditional media. I mean, the person could start a career more in the television and movies and things like that. But there have been cases where YouTubers have had that kind of offer and we're told, well, you got to stop making YouTube videos. And it's like, well, that's how I got here.
When you fire me, what do I have then?
Yeah, exactly. So
I still feel like a lot of the YouTube and television interactions are really awkward. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone
Super
has mastered
awkward.
that.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people on TV still have no idea who iJustine is. It blows my mind. I covered a red carpet one time and iJustine was hosting the carpet. And I think no one at the premiere knew who she was.
Which is insane for us there to think about, but it's like, well, how many people then are out there that don't know who she is? Like, are they the majority? Are we the minority?
Right,
It
but I mean,
freaks
think
me
about
out.
like when you guys all showed up, you all knew one another,
Right.
and you go to VidCon and you see one another and you know everybody. But I mean, there's a lot of it's a
Yes,
community
yeah.
for sure. But do you think that the larger television audience maybe isn't in on that community?
well, that may
Well,
be a
they should
problem.
get in on that.
Well,
Yeah.
for sure. Come on down.
And it's going to also change as time progresses because the thing is the young audience really there's people now that are of an age where television and YouTube is one and the same to them. There was one of my friends did a red carpet and they had all these sports celebrities or whatever and Fred walks down and all the kids are like going
Okay,
crazy.
that's Fred. Come on.
That's my point though. I mean, like at VidCon there were celebrities walking around that did not have the same impact or line around them as Charlie So Cool Like had. So I mean, it's a matter of time before the audience that's going to have the money is going to be there to where the television will be like, all right, we'll do what you say because we know now that your audience is at that age where we can really make money off of them, and it's just going to be a matter of time. But I think the big issue is that television is going to have to hold back a little bit because the YouTubers have established so much, and that's where I think where this clashing, where the awkwardness is coming from. They want to grab you and control it.
Because people in television still don't understand it.
Yeah, they don't understand it. We you know how this works, kid. You know that's what and it's like, well, I got a million subscribers, so how does it work? Tell me how it works.
When in actuality, we're helping them because the riskiest thing they can do is create a pilot and it tanks.
Yes.
With this, you get an audience and a developed show or
From
personality.
day one.
Right.
We're helping them.
Right, and that'll be bad because if they do that, which I think has even happened a couple of times prior to all of this, as soon as one YouTube show tanks, I'm like, well, that was we can't
What
do
about
that.
shit my dad says?
Yes.
But that wasn't a
But
show.
that wasn't a
That
YouTube
wasn't-
show. That
yeah.
was
That
also
was Twitter.
But that's a great example, though.
But it's a good example, and here's the thing. It will, I think you're right, like in the short term, people will be like, oh, you know, YouTubers, they can't deliver the audience on television if like one specific project doesn't work out. But it's gonna come to the point where like TV is gonna, I think, have to bend at the knee for YouTube because like you brought up an interesting point earlier about like, you know, I remember I think it was Niga Higa years ago when he was first offered a show, they wanted him to shut his entire YouTube channel down for it, and it's like, that's so the opposite of the point. Like you want these people to come to the television show, why would you shut down the channel?
You should use the channel to enhance the show. And
Right.
if you're not seeing it like that, you're really old school.
Well, so I mean, even things like The Daily Show, for example, they cut their interviews off and then say, like, we're going to put it up on YouTube. Do you think that that's a good way to integrate YouTube? Do you think that's the best way
I
to
love The
start?
Daily Show, so I like that.
I think people expect that now. They expect that they can watch everything on YouTube. So you might as well monetize it and make money from it instead of trying to hide it from us and making us watch TV if we don't want to.
Yeah, and like Daniel Tosh, he does a really good job. Like even though his show is so like obvious, like YouTube videos still, like he pushes to his website a lot, and his website's really interactive, and he's really interactive on his Twitter and his Facebook.
Very good. Yeah, no, he does a good example of and actually integrating people who are, the whole draw of YouTube, I think, is that everybody can make a video, and he integrates people who nobody knows and puts up their stupid video that they've made for him.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's going to be a matter of, sometimes television can do these sort of 15 minutes of fame thing. I think if someone like a Justine or something like that could make a career both on YouTube and on television with the personality, as opposed to someone like, oh, here's this viral video, let's all talk about it for 5 minutes and then we'll never speak of it again. I think that it's going to be, obviously we have to play in the television game, but I think there are ways that YouTubers can learn that industry as well and be able to make a career out of that as well as doing their YouTube thing. It's just, about signing the right papers. Speaking to the right people.
I think she's on the right track.
Yeah.
I saw her guest star on The Vampire Diaries.
Yes, exactly.
No.
And Andre, I know that you do a lot of commercials. I know that's totally separate, but you and my friend are on the TV.
I am totally for sale. I'm sorry. You write a big check to me.
In some great commercials.
Thank you.
And I don't see Michael Buckley on anymore. I think he did a fabulous job.
Oh, he was
her,
amazing.
Like, with Kelly.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was wonderful.
Well, great points, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And of course, we'll go down the line and see if you guys have anything coming up, starting with you, Andre. Is there anything coming up you'd like to talk about?
Yes, you can catch me every week on youtube.com/blacknerdcomedy, and I am available for television, movies. Don't listen to what these people are saying. Hire me.
Hire him.
TV show, movie, record deal, Broadway.
Yeah, Disney Channel. Black Nerd Comedy is my YouTube channel. Please check it out, subscribe, and watch my videos. Thanks.
All right, Will?
You can find me on YouTube and kind of everywhere as The Will of DC on my YouTube, on my Twitter, and everything. And youtube.com/The Warp Zone is some friends I'm working with on new projects. So go subscribe to The Warp Zone. Go show them lots of love.
Good job, Misty.
Love. Hey guys, if you want more Misty Monster, you can follow me on Twitter at MistyCityLA, or you can actually find me on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/MistyKingma.
Very good. Well, thank you guys so much. Of course, we'll go down the line. Andre Meadows, Will Hyde, and Misty Kingma. Thank you guys so much. We want to say thanks to our point contributor, Shira Lazar of What's Trending. You can always check her out at whatstrending.com. And Guy Adams of The Independent, who is at Guy Adams, so we can see what controversy he causes on Twitter next. I'm Meg Turney. I've been your guest host. You can catch me on Twitter at Meg Turney, and we'll see you next time on The Point.